Mission Log, SS Pioneer. Day 721. Commander Elias Vance exhaled slowly, watching the starfield ripple outside the observation deck. 2 years in the void. 2 years since Earth had sent them through the wormhole, the first human vessel to breach another galaxy. "You're brooding again," Dr. Liana Kuros said, stepping beside him. Her dark eyes reflected the distant nebulae. "We'll find something. We have to," Vance smirked. "Or what? We go home and tell the EDF we wasted 1 trillion credits on empty space?" A sharp beep cut through the quiet. "Commander," Caliban's smooth synthetic voice chimed in. "Anomaly detected. Unidentified signatures at bearing 039. Vance and Kuros exchanged glances. "Show me!" The holographic display flickered to life, a massive, jagged silhouette eclipsing the stars. Not one. Dozens. "That's not one of ours," Kuros whispered. Then the ship screamed. Alarms blared as the Pioneer shuddered under a sudden impact. The lights flickered, emergency strobes painting the corridors blood red. "Direct hit! Hull breach on Deck 4!" an ensign shouted over the chaos. Vance sprinted for the bridge, Kuros at his heels. "Caliban! Status!" Energy surge consistent with directed plasma weaponry. Shields at 12%. Engines compromised. The view screen flared as another blast rocked the ship. The alien vessels, sleek, obsidian, lined with pulsating crimson veins, swarmed like predators. "They're jamming comms!" the comms officer yelled. Vance gripped the command chair. "Then we run, full reverse thrust, get us back to the wormhole." But the aliens moved faster. Earth, EDF Orbital Command, 3 months later. The Pioneer limped home on dying engines, its hull scorched, its crew half dead. Admiral Riker stood in the docking bay, arms crossed, as medics rushed to the survivors. Vance stumbled down the ramp, his uniform torn, his face gaunt. "You're late," Riker said dryly. Vance didn't smile. "We're not alone out there." The debriefing room was tense. Kuros projected the Pioneer's final recordings, the Kryth Dominion's fleet, their relentless assault, the way their ships healed from damage. "They adapt," she said. "Every weapon we used they countered within minutes." Riker leaned forward. "And you're sure they followed you?" "No," Vance admitted. "But they know where we are now." A silence settled over the room. Then the Admiral tapped a console. "Then we make sure they regret that." The screen lit up, a skeletal framework of a new warship dwarfing anything in the EDF's arsenal. "Project Aegis," Riker said. "We've been preparing for this. EDF shipyards, Mars orbit." The EDS Titan was a monster. Kuros ran a hand along the cold alloy of its quantum core, the heart of its experimental weaponry. "This shouldn't be possible," she murmured. "Yet here we are," Vance said, stepping beside her. Caliban's voice echoed through the chamber. "The Kryth operate on a hive intelligence. If we disrupt their network, we can blind them." "And if we're wrong?" Kuros asked. Vance met her gaze. "Then we die. But not quietly. Kryth occupied system. Andromeda outskirts. The Titan dropped out of FTL into hell. Kryth ships swarmed like locusts, their weapons already charging. "All hands, battle stations," Vance barked. The Titan's disruptor cannons flared, tearing through the first wave. But as predicted, the Kryth adapted. Their ships shifted formation, their shields recalibrating. "They're learning," Kuros warned. "Then we hit harder," Vance growled. A boarding alarm blared. "They're inside the ship." Marines rushed to intercept as biomechanical horrors clawed through the bulkheads. Then, a whisper in the static. "You do not belong here." A captured Kryth drone, its organic components twitching, spoke in a voice not its own. "The architects return." Kuros froze. Oh God, they're not the masters. They're slaves. The truth unraveled too late. The wormhole wasn't natural. It was a trap, a beacon. And something older than humanity had just woken up, Earth's fleets mobilized. The Titan burned in the void, its sacrifice buying time. As Vance watched the stars from his new command ship, A single alert flashed. Wormhole signature detected. Unknown origin. He tightened his grip on the armrest. Prepare for contact. The EDS Titan's wreckage drifted in the void, a grim monument to humanity's first real battle against the Kryth. But Commander Vance had no time to mourn. Back on Earth, the EDF's top scientists pored over the data retrieved from the Kryth drone. The message was clear. The architects were coming. Dr. Kuros stood before the EDF High Command, her holographic display showing ancient star maps and corrupted alien texts. The Kryth weren't conquerors, she said. They were infected. The architects are a machine intelligence, an ancient weapon that repurposes civilizations into soldiers. The wormhole was their failsafe, a way to spread. Admiral Riker's face darkened. You're saying we woke them up? No, Kuros replied. They were already waking. We just hurried them along. A tense silence filled the room. Then, an alarm blared. Admiral, a technician's voice crackled over the comms. Multiple contacts emerging from the edges of the solar system. They're not Kryth. Vance's blood ran cold. The architects are here. The architects' ships were unlike anything humanity had seen. Sleek, geometric, their surfaces shifting like liquid metal. They moved with eerie precision, dismantling EDF defenses before they could even fire. Earth's orbital platforms fell first, then Mars, then the outer colonies. Vance commanded the last surviving fleet from the bridge of the EDS Retribution, a prototype successor to the Titan. We can't beat them head-on, Kuros said, her fingers flying over a console. But their network has a weakness, a central signal. If we disrupt it, we might sever their control over the Kryth. Caliban's hologram flickered. Theoretically, yes, but the source is beyond the wormhole. We would need to send a strike team directly into their core. Vance clenched his jaw. Then that's what we do. A small strike force, Vance, Kuros, and a squad of elite EDF Marines boarded a stealth frigate, the Shadow's Gambit. Their mission: plunge through the collapsing wormhole, infiltrate the Architect's nexus, and plant a quantum destabilizer. The journey was hell. Space twisted around them, the wormhole unstable. When they emerged, they found themselves in a nightmarish Dyson sphere, an artificial megastructure, its interior lined with the hollowed-out remains of 1,000 civilizations. This is a graveyard, Kuros whispered. Then the architects detected them. Fighting through waves of biomechanical horrors, the team reached the core, a pulsating, crystalline AI mainframe, its voice echoing in their minds. You are flawed. You will be repurposed. Vance activated the destabilizer. Not today. The device whirred to life, sending cascading fractures through the architect's network. Across the galaxy, Kryth ships shuddered, their mechanical components failing as the organic minds inside screamed in sudden, terrible clarity. Kuros grabbed Vance's arm. We have to go, now! They ran as the Dyson sphere collapsed around them. The Shadow's Gambit barely escaped, the wormhole imploding behind them. Back in Sol, the Architect fleet went dark, their ships drifting lifelessly. Humanity had won. But at what cost? Earth's defenses were in ruins. Billions were dead. And somewhere in the void, Vance knew, there were more architects. More threats. As he stood on the Retribution's observation deck, watching the stars, Kuros joined him. We stopped them, she said. For now. Vance nodded. Then we'd better get ready for what's next. A new alert pinged on the console. Commander, Caliban said. You should see this. The screen displayed a deep space scan, a faint, repeating signal from the edge of known space. Message: we have been waiting. Vance exhaled slowly. Sound: general quarters. In the ruins of the Architect's Dyson sphere, a single light flickered back to life. A backup system. A contingency. A new signal pulsed into the void. Directive: rebuild, reclaim, repeat. Somewhere, another wormhole began to form.